Good morning. We just finished week 1 of the quest, and so welcome. Each week we're going to be doing a small, short little recap video of what we talked about each week. Guys in Central Louisiana, I would invite you to come every Friday morning for the next 6 weeks now to the quest at Calvary. We start at 6 a.m. and go to 7:30 a.m. every Friday morning. So I'd love to have you come, but if you can't make it, we've got a Facebook feed, Facebook Live feed that you can check out on this page, and also we're going to be doing this little video recap. But this week, we started out on our study this semester. It's a book called No More Excuses by Tony Evans. Tony Evans is a pastor at a church in Dallas, Texas. Has been there for over 40 years now. He has done many men's conferences over the years, wrote many books. Great man of God, and so he put together this study. So we're going to be using his study and some other things the next 6 weeks, so we'd invite you to attend. So this week we kind of laid the groundwork for everybody's got an excuse. There's excuses for not taking responsibility for our lives. And so we have all the excuses in the world that, there's no way that I can do that, I'll never change. Or, hey, that's just the way I am. That's the way I am, and so nothing's ever going to be any different. If you only knew how I grew up, you would understand. That's a big excuse. I'm a good Christian. I go to church. I even attend the quest, but hey, mine's a private faith. So I just kind of keep my faith to myself. That's a big excuse for not getting involved in God's work. I will give time to God, but hey, don't get crazy. I'm too busy to really get involved. Now, that may be an excuse that we don't say, but we are definitely saying it through our actions. So we have an excuse for everything. And so I used an example this morning of several people in sports, several people in military that used excuses on why they messed up and they didn't take responsibility. And so one of the guys that we use is General George McClellan. He was a Civil War general under Abraham Lincoln. He was a big excuse maker. He had, in one battle, he had 70,000 men to the Confederates of 25,000 men, and he pulled back and decided not to attack, even though he had 3-1. But what he did was he sent excuses to Lincoln, saying things like, "Hey, my force was too small. The government can't hold me responsible for this." He shifted the blame. So you can search. I did a search. I can't see any buildings or statues named after General George McClellan. And you won't see many statues or buildings named after excuse makers in general. So there's lots of different people that make excuses, and again, we don't want to point the finger. We want to look at our own lives and say, what am I making an excuse for? What in my past am I saying is responsible for where I am today? Real men, real biblical men take responsibility. Even if we have to take responsibility for somebody else's mistakes, we take responsibility. Great example of that, again, of a man not taking responsibility was Adam. So you don't have to go very far in the Bible to find an excuse maker. But Adam said, for the reason that him and Eve sinned, it was the woman you gave me, who gave me the fruit, and I ate it. So he blamed it on God. He basically said, God, it's your fault. You gave me this woman, and she made me eat it. So rather than standing in the gap for his wife, like he should have been as a godly man, and keep her from sinning, he gave an excuse and he blamed it on God. So are you blaming God for anything today? Are you blaming for God for anything in your past? So then we said, how do we push forward? How do you push forward? You push forward to win the race. You push forward to say, I'm not making any excuse for my past, I'm going to push forward. So we run to win. We run with a purpose. We have a purpose on why we run this race. We remove distractions from the course as we run this race with God. We keep our eye on the finish line and we don't quit. You have to decide right now that you're not going to quit on God. You're not going to quit on your family. You're not going to quit on your kids. You've got to make that decision now that no excuses, you're not going to quit. And then number 5, the hours of training for a race will bear fruit. The more you live in God's purposes for your life, you will bear fruit. Jesus promises that. So the guys I asked this week, and I ask you, look back in your past. What is it in your past that you're still making excuses for? Take responsibility for those things in your past. So look back, take responsibility, and then move forward. And so I'd ask you to do this as well. I challenge the guys. Write down one thing from your past that you have got to address and put behind you. And then secondly, I asked them, tell another person. Tell another person what you're addressing and how you're moving forward, so you can have that accountability with that person. So that was a short synopsis of week one. We'll post the notes on the site so you can see the filled in outline and follow along with that. Would encourage you to follow our Facebook Live video if you can't make it on Fridays, or watch this recap video. So we'll be back here each and every week. Again, guys, if you're in Central Louisiana, 6 a.m. next Friday. You don't have to be registered to come. Show up, and you will not regret it. See you next week.